Welcome to In Spite of Everything podcast. I'm your host, Yael, and my guest today joins us from Buenos Aires, Argentina. He's a co-founder of his independent game studio, Rushing 2600. They recently finished their first game, Shizoku Shuriken Brawl, inspired by Japanese culture and the eternal classic Pong. Shizoku is a local multiplayer game where samurais and ninjas come together to play tennis with the tennis balls as shuriken. With me today is Manuel Almos. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you. So before we dive into Shizoku, do you have a classic game that you still play to this day?
Well, it's quite funny you ask, because Rushing first steps on the internet were as an Instagram page where we featured a lot of retro gaming stuff, and we still do. We are huge fans of the good old days of gaming, from NES titles such as Castlevania or Ninja Gaiden, even GoldenEye 64, even the Polygon era. We still, to this day, we gather the team at least once a month to play this classic. There is something really special about retro games. I think it's more than just nostalgia.
Yeah, I agree. And there's some sort of simplicity to it that's not like, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I love this industry from start to finish. Modern games are no exception. I'm a fond lover, for example, of World of Warcraft and still play to this day. But I don't know if you're familiar with the game.
I'm familiar with it in that I know what it is, but I never got into it. Yeah.
Well, World of Warcraft is an MMORPG that launched in 2004. And soon they will release a classic version of the World of Warcraft, of the World of Warcraft that launched it in 2004. So even that I love the modern game, I will still play the classic version because the simplicity, the RPG elements, everything back in the day was so much better. I think it's not about nostalgia. I think games were made with love back in the day.
I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that mostly. There were still some games that were like never beatable and completely impossible to beat.
Yeah, especially NES titles.
Yeah. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about Shizoku?
Yes, of course. So if I had to summarize the game in a sentence, I would say Shizoku Shuriken Brawl is a local multiplayer where samurais and ninjas come together to stay in shape and play tennis. But instead of a racquetball and a ball, they use katanas and shurikens. It's kind of painful, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
Yeah, we were going for a brawl type of experience. It's meant to be a super casual multiplayer game. We were heavily inspired by Smash, Towerfall, Pong, Head Soccer. This game came out from a lot of places. Even the main idea came up to me as I was watching Naruto. Yeah. Shulo and me are really into arcade multiplayer. Juliano, the co-founder of Rushing, are really into arcade multiplayer games, and I thought it might be fun to delve into this genre.
Yeah, no, it looks great. Was Shizoku made in Construct 2 or 3?
Actually, it was made in Construct 3. We think that, Construct 3, even though its business model of Construct 2 I think it's far better than the Construct 3 subscription model. But I was worried about being left behind by the developers.
Yeah.
So we made the decision to go with Construct 3.
Yeah, I shared the same worry. Even though it's still coming around, I mean, I know that it's not quite up to par with C2's, third-party plugins and stuff, but I feel like they will catch up. Right.
Yes.
So how did you determine you would make the game in Construct versus other options out there?
Well, long story short, we were tired of Unity. Unity is a fantastic tool, but for us, you can do amazing stuff with Unity. Personally, we just wanted to make 2D games. We just enjoy more that type of game.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of 2019, we made the switch. We were between Game Maker Studio 2 and Construct 3. And for the games we had planned for this year, Construct 3 seemed like the better option, especially because it's HTML5, so development is faster, prototyping is super easy. We still don't know if we will continue with this engine. We love it, but I miss coding, and JavaScript is not really my thing.
Fair enough. Actually, how is your workflow? I'm always curious how people are working as a team in Construct 3.
Well, I'm the main game designer and programmer of the game, but we have currently 4 people in the team. It's kind of funny because it's not a typical game dev team. Juliano, who co-founded with me the studio, is mainly in charge of managing all social networks, editing our YouTube videos, promotional content, branding, basically all the marketing related stuff. He's also an incredible game designer, And with him, we established the foundation of all our games. Then we have Manuel Müller, and the writer of the team. He's the creative mind behind stories we tell in our games. He didn't participate in Shizoku because there is no story to tell in this game.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of other projects we have in mind where he plays a fundamental part, and we work together a lot in order to match the theme and the story of the game with the mechanics. And the fourth member of the team is Germán Repeto, who joined the team not so long ago. He's a full-stack web developer. He joined the team because we have a dream where Rushin is a platform that helps the developers from South America to market and launch their games easily. We want to promote game development in the region, as entrepreneurship here is really, really harsh. That's why we have Germán in the team. We need to build a community, and we have to. We need a person to be in charge of the web and the forums, etc.
That's great. Sounds like you got a tight little team.
Yes, yes.
So how long was this game in development, and how did you determine that this would be the first game?
Well, Shizoku was made in 3 months. Initially, it was going to be a 2-day development game, kind of a personal game jam. The idea back in the day was super simple. It was a Pong clone where instead of moving upwards and downwards, you have to jump with the ninja. It was super simple. But fortunately, we saw the potential the main mechanic had and decided to expand on it. 3 months ago, we were working on a 2D action platformer based in the Victorian era named Bloodsong. Super story-driven game with a unique Industrial Revolution theme. It was amazing, but the scope was too big for us at the time. That's why we decided to make smaller games first, and then with more experience and capital, we could go after Bloodsong.
I will definitely look that up later.
Oh, no, don't tell me that. I have to change the name. Well, I'm still sad. I'm still sad that we have to postpone the development of Bloodsong. The story and theme of the game was, it's like, I guess every developer has to stay away from their longer projects until the right moment comes.
Yeah. I say that like I know, but I'm guessing it's... I haven't been in a long-term project yet, but...
It's super hard to stay away from your Mona Lisa, if you will.
So are there ideas that early on that you felt worked in the game, but eventually decided to remove that you wouldn't mind sharing with us?
Yeah, for sure. There were a lot of different things that on paper were great ideas, but when we implemented them, they were pretty awful. The first one that comes to mind is we have a clone mechanic where you control 3 characters at the same time, and you had to alternate between them with a button depending on where the shuriken was. I don't know if I am explaining well. The idea behind it was to set the ninjas in different places of the screen strategically and switch the controls depending on where the shuriken was going. I thought it was going to be super fun. It was going to add depth to the mechanics. But it turned out to be super confusing, and we ended up removing that really quickly.
Dang.
Another feature, for example, removed was the possibility to shoot shurikens with your character. In our mind, more shurikens meant a better game. But it was also super frustrating because even having 2 shurikens on the screen made the game a chaos and not in a good way.
Yeah. Sorry. I took a huge gulp of coffee, and now it's trying to escape my chest.
Okay.
What would you say was the most difficult mechanic to make work in the game?
Without a doubt, bouncing the shuriken off with your katana. Making that feel good and satisfying was super challenging. That mechanic was finished during the first week of development and was changed and modified till last week. So you can tell that getting the right feel for it was hard at least.
Wow. Actually, I'm guessing you're using a collider of some sort. You probably have a hitbox that causes the shuriken to bounce off.
Yes, for construct users, we are using the bullet behavior. You know, yeah.
Shizoku has pixel art graphics. How did you decide to go with the pixel art style?
Well, that's pretty easy. I'm not a talented artist by any means. Yes, and we didn't have an artist on the team at the time. We didn't have an artist in the team. We do have now. Let me credit Agustin Quiroga, who made the cutscene. I don't know if you watched the trailer. The cutscene.
No, it's great.
Yeah, that was made by him. The cutscene art. But as I don't believe in talent, I decided to go and work with my craft. And I felt pixel art was a good art site to start working on getting better. Also, nostalgia played an important part.
Yeah, I think it looks good, actually, honestly. I really like the color palette.
Color picking is tough.
That doesn't say much about the art, but the color palette is nice, and I think the graphics are nice.
Well, the color palette is not mine. I downloaded it from the internet, the color palette, because color picking, it's rocket science for me. Color picking. I don't understand. Yeah.
It's hard, but it's really important.
Yes, super important. Maybe the design is well conceived, but if the colors aren't good, then it feels messy. The art, I don't know.
What are you using for pixel art? I'm guessing A-Sprite?
A-Sprite, yes. I love A-Sprite, especially for animates.
Anything else?
Well, I have an iPad with an Apple Pencil. Maybe there I sketch some things, and then in A-Sprite I refine it, but mostly A-Sprite.
Do you use Affinity?
Nope.
I'm going to recommend that one if you don't want to pay for Photoshop anymore.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like $40 and pretty powerful. One-time fee.
I will look it up. Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah. I've been telling people about it, and they're all like, whoa. I mean, it's still missing some... It's not quite up to par with Photoshop, but it is...
For $40.
Getting very close. Yeah, it's a great piece of software. And I think that there's an iPad version as well.
I use the iPad a lot, yes.
Yeah.
I use Procreate for drawing. And then with that as a guideline, I do my pixel art.
Oh, I have not checked out Procreate. I've heard of that.
Procreate, $10. It has everything. It's wonderful.
Is it just a iOS app?
I think it is. Let me look for it. I think it is. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, for iPad. Just for iPad. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll have to check it out.
That's sad. Yes.
So this game is a local multiplayer game, like you said. How do you refine and test a local multiplayer game? Would the team take turns playing each other during lunch or something? Or did you make AI opponents to help you with this in some way?
Well, you don't test it at all. just joking. The team played the game for a lot of hours during the past 3 months. That were the most valuable piece of feedback, for sure. However, there were times I had to test some stuff and there was nobody there. We don't do this as a full-time job.
Oh, I see.
So I tested alone specific things such as shuriken or player movement, by controlling 2 characters at the same time with the same controller. It wasn't super accurate, but it gave me the information I needed to keep iterating.
Yeah.
We didn't make AI opponents because it was going to be super hard to imitate a human behavior with this game, with the mechanics of this game. Mechanics are accessible, but knowing how to use them is pretty hard. And we want to focus on the multiplayer component of the game, so spending time and resources on something that didn't match the core vision we have for the game wasn't something we wanted to do.
Yeah. Are there AI at all in the game, or is it required to have another player?
Not at all. It's required to have another player. There is a solo mode where you have to beat your own high score. I think that's pretty fun because the mechanic it's rewarding. So playing alone it's also fun. Of course, that the game is heavily focused on multiplayer. We were really inspired by Towerfall. I don't know if you know that game. Towerfall, it was a big part. It's hard to decide that you won't have a solo mode in a game. So first of all, we added that. And then we watched how Matt Thorson with Towerfall decided to just do a local multiplayer game and was successful. I mean, I think Towerfall motivated us to go with this idea we have. I think it's kind of risky because people nowadays play alone a lot, but there's something really special about local multiplayer where you gather with your friends in the same room and play together some Smash, for example. It's wonderful. So we wanted to create that experience.
Yeah. No, those are, and oddly, they're kind of hard to find. For instance, my wife plays video games, but there are very few games I feel like that we can play together that we both enjoy. We're always looking for a co-op game, or a game that's required for co-op, and they're just kind of hard to find. And I've actually kind of been trying to think of ideas to make some of my own because I feel like these games need to exist. People get in relationships and people want to play together, and
party games are the best. Party game, I enjoy it so much.
Yeah,
I totally get you.
Yeah. Party games and narrative co-op games are just So, are you planning on attending any upcoming conventions for Shizoku?
Sadly, no. I am going on an exchange program to France to study. So I will be pretty busy. Maybe Shulo will be attending the IVA here on Argentina, an important convention here. However, I look forward to see and get in touch with the game dev community in France. I will be there for 6 months, so knowing people there that share this passion we have, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Wow. 6 months.
Yeah.
That's gonna be great.
It's an experience. Yes.
I'm jealous. So what platforms are you planning on launching this on?
First, it's going to be available on August 16 this year. And later on, if everything goes well, Steam. The reason why we do a soft launch on each first, because we can actually choose a cheaper price there. Because unlike Steam, each does not take a cut from your revenue. So launching on each first is dedicated towards all the people that supported us through the development of Shizoku.
Yeah.
Of course, many people will prefer using Steam rather than itch. So we wanted to make clear that each owner of the game will have a free Steam key when the game comes out on Steam.
Great. I'm guessing the game has gamepad support.
Yeah, obviously. Playing with the keyboard is just awful. Playing multiplayer with the keyboard, it's awful. One person, it's okay, it feels great, but imagine having 4 times 2, 8 hands on the keyboard playing this game. It's going to be
yeah, no, thank you.
pretty fun to watch. Yes. Yeah.
I haven't tried to put on a game on a platform like Xbox or PlayStation yet. Are there any struggles with that you can share with us?
Well, I have no experience there yet, but Nintendo Switch, for example, I think it's pretty difficult to get your game there, especially with Construct. You don't have with Construct, and let me complain about this here. You don't have a Nintendo Switch support in Construct, not because of Construct, because of Nintendo. They don't support HTML5.
Right.
So that's kind of sad.
Yeah. There was a petition, I think, though, to submit to Nintendo.
I signed it.
Oh, great.
I signed it, I share it, I was part of the movement.
Great.
Yeah. But first of all, I would suggest that focus on PC, which is the easiest way to publish a game. And then if everything goes well, maybe consider port it to or Xbox or even Switch, depending on your engine. But I would suggest first focusing on one platform, see how it goes, see how it's received, see if it's worth it to continue developing that game for other platforms.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Children?
No, not at all. That's wow.
Oh, they basically can port your game to other platforms, but they also speed up your runtime because they convert your Construct project to pure. I might be messing this up, but they convert it to pure C# or.
Whoa, that's incredible. How it's spelled?
CHOWDREN. Children. Surely they're going to charge you a fee, but they can speed up your runtime. From what I've seen, up to like 7 times the speed.
That's amazing.
Or faster.
That's really good. If everything go well with the launch on August, maybe we can port it to Switch. I think.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think when Iconoclast was ported, it went through Children.
Iconoclast is made in Construct?
It was Construct Classic.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's a pretty good game.
Yeah, I still haven't beaten it, so no spoilers. It's pretty good.
I haven't played it. I only watch it gameplay, and there's a lot of games that I have to buy and play. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to play them all, but it's definitely on my list.
Okay, since we're talking about this, I don't feel like I play video games anymore. I don't know if you've been that way for a while, but I don't feel like I play games or even have the need sometimes to play video games anymore. It's hard for me to sit down and play one after I've been trying to design one for a week, Yeah,
I can relate totally with that. When you start developing games, the games I played, it's usually like to see what the industry is doing. Maybe, for example, how Hollow Knight handled the jump mechanic, how Hollow Knight jump mechanic works, how time... That's the kind of things I'm looking for when I play games. I kind of ruined the
experience.
Yeah, the experience, because I'm playing a game and I'm going through. Whoa, that's how they did this thing. Maybe it could be done like this way or this other way. You start playing the game as a game developer, and not as a gamer. That's I miss that so much, because I mean, being an ignorant is good in some ways. Now you know a lot of stuff about game design that it doesn't let you enjoy the game anymore. I enjoy it a lot, but it's hard to enjoy a game when you know a lot of stuff about how it's made or how could it be better. A lot of things that I miss that from my life. Definitely.
Yeah, especially the more simple games, I think. I've probably said this before on the podcast, but I work in the film industry and television industry for my full-time job. Oh, when I notice that I'm taking apart a film or even a game, I realize that it's because it's noticeable. But when it's not noticeable, it's like better. The quality is so good that I completely, the story has just kept me captivated, or the gameplay has kept me captivated. So in a way, it's almost like separating the extremely well put together games and movies and, the not quite as well. But I know what you're saying.
You look things with other eyes. I think it's good in most case scenario, but sometimes I feel I miss that feeling of discovering a game and let me the game surprise me. I don't know. I miss that feeling so much.
It's hard for me to even revisit some old retro games now because I'm like, oh man, this is brutal. These controls are terrible.
or losing all your progress because hardware there was
right, like no save.
That was some bad design. Yes,
it's either no save or entirely score based, and you realize there's no end to the game.
Or you have passwords. Then back in the day you had passwords where you reach a level and they gave you a password to revisit that level if you want to. There wasn't a saving. There wasn't like a save and load game.
Yeah, it was like 12 characters long too, and you had to use the D-pad to select everything.
Maybe the game could be won in about 2 hours, but you lose so much that you never ended. It's just an endless experience.
Right. 50 hours playing the game and 10 hours of it was putting in passwords.
Believe me. Half an hour of Ninja Gaiden for the NES, it's awful. Juliano is going to kill me because he loves that game, but I can't stand it. It's super hard.
I'm guessing there was inspiration. Did you guys look at that game when you were trying to make Shizoku?
No, not particularly.
It's quite different, actually.
We love ninjas and we love Ninja Gaiden, but as I said before, the main idea came up to me while I was watching Naruto. I was watching some character bouncing with another shuriken. They were bouncing off. Also, Star Wars had to do a lot with this game. With lightsabers, they bounce the blasters.
Yeah.
That's another inspirational source from the game. Ninja Gaiden, I don't know, but we love ninjas. That had to do a lot. We love ninjas.
Yeah. Great game, impossible to play now.
Yeah.
Well,
for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Manuel, for spending time with me today.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
It was great having you. Shizoku Shuriken Brawl will be available August 16th, 2019. You can purchase it at rushing2600.itch.io and other platforms soon to follow. You can also follow Rushing 2600 on Twitter at 2600 Rushing. Thank you all for listening to the In Spite of Everything podcast. If you have questions you'd like to ask on future podcasts, or if you'd like to recommend a guest to be on the podcast, you can email me at isoepodcast@gmail.com. And if you haven't already, follow ISO Podcast on Twitter to stay up to date with new episodes and lame dad jokes. Happy constructing, everyone.